You alright guys, welcome back to the Baldur's Gate playthrough. This time I am not doing a solo run, I'm doing the party run. So basically this playthrough, I know I said in the other video, in the Solo Drow Ranger playthrough, I was going to be playing as a Blackguard. I did change my mind. I played as a Blackguard, a couple of days ago, a few days ago, and I kind of got a little bit bored because of playing him. He isn't that strong. He's very good with a bow. Blackguards, if you ever want to play a Blackguard character, extremely good with a bow. Very, very good. Very good sword and shield character as well. Very good tanks, but obviously doesn't do a lot of damage. My main concern was when I get to Baldur's Gate 2 with that Black Ranger. Black Ranger, Blackguard, that sort of thing. Same thing basically. But when I get to that sort of Baldur's Gate 2 area, I was worried that I wouldn't be able to handle my character on his own. So mainly the big points are trying to fight Irenicus and also doing any of the solo missions. Because he doesn't do a lot of damage, he's basically like unstoppable force meets immovable wall. He's an immovable wall, but he doesn't do anything else. That's the problem. The only thing is he can cheese things, but I didn't really want to cheese things anyway. The main cheesiness was poison arrows and poison weapon with the detonating arrows ability of things that you can buy. Obviously arrows in Baldur's Gate 2 are they were nerfed quite a bit, so again not as strong as in Baldur's Gate 1. Mainly reason why I wanted to change my character. Mages overall are stupidly powerful. In my opinion, Berserker Mage, Kensai Mage are probably the hands down best classes in the game. Mage solo, not so much Mage pure Mage isn't so much as a strong contender. However, I do believe Sorcerer is better than a pure Mage. Obviously Sorcerers can't dual class and they can't multi-class. So I'm going as a pure Sorcerer for this playthrough with a party. I will be taking the traditional NPCs because I did hear in Baldur's Gate 3 a lot of returning characters will be coming back. Possibly Jaheira, because she is a half-elf. Obviously it's only 100 years difference between the events of Baldur's Gate 2 and 3. Hopefully Jaheira can live that long. She's probably like an old decrepit nan by now, but you know, she might be in it because of her half elven blood, living a little bit longer than normal. Minsc and Boo, that's the interesting thing, because I believe they will be in it, because it was said somewhere, I think it was in the comics or whatever, but it was also said in the D&D 5th edition, the Depths of Avernus, I think, Descent into Avernus. It was said in that Minsc and Boo were apparently petrified from the end of Baldur's Gate 2, and they were recently released in Descent of Avernus as characters, which means, Descent of Avernus is just before the events of Baldur's Gate 3, so it's very likely that Minsc and Boo are going to be in Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm hoping that is the case because I love Minsc and Boo. I think I can't play a game without them, without Minsc. He's just brilliant. He's hands down the best character. I said it in the Drow Range playthrough, fan favourite character. If you've played Baldur's Gate, he's honestly the best. Reason I'm obviously doing these playthroughs is because of Baldur's Gate 3. As soon as that game comes out, I'm going to be buying it. I'm actually tempted. I've never pre-ordered the game before. I'm very, very tempted on pre-ordering Baldur's Gate. But obviously, it's going to be quite fun to do. And I'm hoping, obviously, it's going to be interesting for you guys to see a new game that's come out. Baldur's Gate 3 it looks incredible from what I've seen at PAX. Obviously the videos and stuff like that. And I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. Obviously, I'm going, for my Sorcerer anyway, I'm going for a sling for the main weapon of my said character. I actually wanted to do something a little bit different than I normally do. Normally, whenever I play Baldur's Gate, first one, I sell the Ring of Wizardry that I find later on just outside of the Friendly Arm Inn. Reason for that is the ring goes for 9,000 gold. I didn't want to do that, so I've kind of hindered myself a little bit. But because I'm a sorcerer, I thought, you know what, I'll equip it, I'll give the ring a go, see how it is. So obviously, using that ring, it's actually not too bad. I get to like level 3, and I have about 10 spells that I can cast. So from a standpoint of a war of nutrition, I actually can last a little bit longer spamming spells than I normally would as a basic mage or a basic sorcerer. Or a basic mage, they have, 2 or 3 spells that they can cast. Sorcerers can have a few more in the early game. Late game, I think sorcerers are just as strong as mages. Not, in my opinion, not as strong as the Kensai Mage or the Berserker Mage. Only purely because Berserker Mages are absolutely OP. They're immune to all crowd control effects. It's honestly ridiculous. However, one thing that Kensai Mages have over Berserker Mages is they have a lot more damage. Like you use the Tensor's transformation, Kensai's power ability to do double damage on all successful attack rolls, and you can literally just completely destroy everything. Because obviously all you've got to do is time stop, and funny thing about time stop as well, it makes every single attack roll that you have successful. So you don't miss when you've stopped time, which is actually a really neat little Easter egg if people didn't really know that. I mean, it's a mechanic, sorry, not an Easter egg. But a lot of people who've played the games, even veterans, they didn't actually know that. Obviously, it's more beneficial to stop time, cast your Alacrity. Alacrity? I think that's how it's pronounced. Casting that, and then you spam a load of skull traps or, spell breakers or spell whatever they're called. Get rid of their magical resistance, get rid of their protections and stuff like that. It's more beneficial to do that, especially against dragons, especially against creatures like golems, because you can. So one of my favourite things to do is using spell trigger and putting in 3 lower resistances, going up against an adamantine golem, cast that on him, and then Finger of Death. Instant one hit KO. Their magic resistance is lowered by like 99%. Obviously, I think they've got a magic resistance of like 150, 200. So it puts them within like a decent range to Finger of Death them. Might take 1 or 2, but chances are it works, and you just get rid of this annoyingly strong, powerful tank of a beast in 2 spells, really. I learnt that out just because I did the same thing with dragons. I used to spell trigger 3 low resistances, do that on him, cast time stop, Alacrity. Then I used to cast my spell breakers or whatever they're called, and then breaches, and then greater malisons, and then skull trapping and chromatic orbs. Chromatic orbs are by far, honestly, one of my favourite spells. I used to hate them because they didn't really do anything. They are actually really useful. Chromatic orbs can be used against trolls, kill them. Can be used against dragons because they have a chance to one-hit KO them, which I think is that's what made the spell for me. They used to be useless, in my opinion. But, it's not as bad as I thought it'd be. Just because they have their benefits, and the benefits outweigh that of a magic missile. And actually, to be fair, I was testing it in this playthrough. So you'll see I start actually casting chromatic orbs more than I do with the magic missiles. That's because I noticed that the chromatic orbs were doing more damage than the magic missile. Obviously, I know at the moment, present time, level 1, your character casts 1 magic missile instead of the 4 or the 5 that we're most likely familiar with from playing Baldur's Gate 2 or whatever. So you've got him casting chromatic orbs, which does 1d4 worth of damage, also has a chance to blind the targets. Don't know if that is on every enemy or whatever, but it's decent. It's a nice little added benefit. I found that my magic missiles were doing nothing. So I just started casting that, get to level 3, finally find out that my magic missile casts 2, so I'm doing double damage with that. That's when magic missiles start to come a bit more handy, and I start using that over the chromatic orbs. Obviously, you see I completely ignore Tsar and Monteron, because I'm not having them for my party in this playthrough. I'm sticking to the traditional characters. Also, funny thing, going up against this wolf again. Yep, strongest character in the game, strongest enemy in the game. Honestly, he is better than Saravok. He would be able to defeat Saravok easily. That being said, I get my ass handed to me yet again. This wolf is just ridiculous. He does like a drive-by. He literally just swoops in, sees my character, and takes me out. And literally, like, done. Easy, dead. Honestly, I reckon Saravok is going to be more of a breeze than this stupid wolf. I do rest a little bit just to get my spells back, because obviously I think, oh, I'm going to need spells to kill this wolf. He does a disappearing trick. He just vanishes. I don't know where he goes. I literally just completely disappears, and I'm like, oh, thank God, I don't have to do a boss battle. But yeah, I'm extremely excited for playing Baldur's Gate with a party, because it's been a while since I've done it with a party properly. The last time I did a proper playthrough with a party was actually my Sorcerer character when I started playing Baldur's Gate 2 last year. And then since then, all I've been doing is solo runs. Because, in my opinion, solo runs are a lot easier. The benefits with solo runs, I think I touched on the subject a little bit in the Drow Ranger video, is because you only have to control one character, so you don't have to use your brain as much. I'm not very good at multitasking. I'm a typical guy, honestly. And because I'm a guy, it's very hard to try and figure out what to do and the tactics to use to kill an enemy. It's easy to go up against, 5 characters go up against one enemy. It's just point click, and then characters all do their thing. But if you're going up against massive groups of enemies and hordes of enemies, you're thinking, alright, what do I do? Alright, Immerwin, attack that character, and Khalid, take all the damage. Oh wait, Khalid's nearly dying. Jaheira, take over. Jaheira has no armor class. Crap, she's gonna die within 2 hits. Oh, I'm a mage. I'm squishy. I can't really do much. Cast some chromatic orbs or magic missiles. Hopefully try and do something. But yeah, it's a bit of annoyance. But I like it because it's a challenge. That's, again, I said this. I've said this countless times. One of the main reasons I absolutely love Baldur's Gate is because the entire game is a huge challenge. From start to finish, the game is hard all the way through, unless you course min-max. If you're min-max, the game's ridiculously easy. Like I said, in Drow Range videos I made a Berserker Mage, I could kill dragons in 1 turn. Time stop, Alacrity, Skull Traps, everything dead. By the time time stop's over, you just see him melt. And it's fun to do that, because it never gets old, it's funny. But it does take a lot of the challenge and a lot of the fun out of the game, because it's more of like a novelty cheese thing. Just seeing a dragon melt in literally 1 hit, it's kind of like, I can do it, it's funny, but then where's the fun gone? You're not using your tactics, you're not using your smarts and your brains. That's why I really wanted to do a solo Cavalier build, because solo Cavaliers, they're strong, they've got the mind shields, they've got the fire resistance, acid resistance, but they don't have time stop. I think this game would have been so much more fun if time stop wasn't in it. From a tactics point of view, I love time stop, don't get me wrong. It makes you feel like a proper mage. It makes you feel ridiculously powerful, and I love that, because a lot of RPGs nowadays don't have that fun of playing as a mage. Skyrim, I felt really lackluster and really weak, to the point I had to download mods. But then when I download mods, I felt too overpowered, now all my enemies were too weak. I love Baldur's Gate because it has that happy medium. Because you can use time stop and do all of your time stop stuff and still not be able to kill said creature. For example, most popular creature I've went against was Kangax, the Lich. I cast Time Stop, did all my combos and stuff, and I still didn't kill him. And then he turned into his Demi-Lich, and I didn't have Time Stop anymore because I was a mage. I was pretty low level. I only had 1 Time Stop on my bar, not 2. And I was like, crap, I might genuinely die. And I did, to the point I cheesed him. I just brought myself a scroll of protection from undead, went in, cast that on myself, and he couldn't do anything. And that was boring, because I was expecting, like, some massive, fun, huge boss battle. And it was the first time, some huge, massive boss battle. And then I get my ass handed to me because of his Demi-Lich form. And then I thought, I'll be smart, play it from like a smart person's point of view, cast my protection from undead, and he just stood there doing nothing. And I was like, oh, well, where's the fun in that? But I got a really overpowered ring. Cool. Nice. Obviously, if I was playing from a party perspective, I might have cheesed it a little bit, because I would have got Imowen to pickpocket Kangax, because if you pickpocket him before conversation speaks, or before he turns into his Demi-Lich, you can actually pickpocket the ring from his character. Then, if you kill him and loot him, you get a second ring. It's actually really fun, and I think you can equip both rings at the same time, which the benefits of that is honestly stupid, because you'll get double the regeneration, double, I think it's fire resistance, or there's resistance to something, but I can't remember the effects of the ring now, but it's ridiculous. It's really good, really, really good. Just a lot of fun to have that ring. I use it on every character. Even if I'm a sorcerer, I'm not even on the front lines, I'm still using that ring, just because that handy regeneration. Obviously, for a sorcerer anyway, your health pool is ridiculously low. Like, that's Kangax's ring benefits a any character with low HP resources more than a character with high HP, because with a character with high HP, it's more regeneration is needed. Plus, also, those characters, fighters, typically, I dual class them into mages, or alternatively, as my main character mage, I will cast Plaintar. Plaintar, if those fighter characters with huge hit point pools gets low, my Plaintar just heals them, uses the heal spell, fully heals them back to life. And obviously, if they die, Plaintar's there to use Raise Dead. Honestly, Plaintar is probably the most useful spell in Baldur's Gate, for the main reason is you don't need a cleric if you have Summon Plaintar. You don't need to have any clerics in this game. You don't have to have any healers. Good fun though to have Jaheira, just because of her druid abilities, I guess. I think Jaheira is a very strong tank. Very, very good tank. But I don't play as a tank in this game. I'm putting Khalid on the front line, and then when I get Minsk, obviously, I'm going to get him to be the secondary tank. Jaheira's role in Baldur's Gate 1 is typically that of a healer. She's not the best healer by any means, because she's got some crappy heal spells, but she's the only healer I've got. And she's the only healer character in the group. So she has to fill that role of a healer. So I give all of the best items, the best equipment to Minsk and Khalid first, over her. Then she gets the hand-me-downs. So the idea is to buy the full plate mail from Barakost, give that to Khalid, give Minsk Khalid's Ankeg plate armor from Nashgul. Then when I get to the bandit section, you get the full plate armor from one of the bandits, give that to Minsk, and then Jaheira can get the Ankeg armor. That'll probably be it for the rest of the game, honestly. Imowen, I'm actually going to be forking out a lot of money for her, for the basis of I want her to have the shadow armor, because it's such a cool looking armor, and I just want an excuse for a character to have that. The only issue is it costs a lot of money, 15,000 gold roughly, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's a bit of a waste of money. I could just get a +2 studded leather armor from, I think it's east of Nashkel. No, it's this area south of Nashkel. Basically there's a character called Sendai. You kill him, or her, sorry, and you just get this really, I think it's the second most powerful studded leather armor in the game, not counting the leather armor from Durlag's Tower. Apparently, even though that's a +3 leather armor, it's not actually as strong, or it doesn't offer as much protection as the others. So, you know, strange in that. I think the shadow leather armor is the strongest leather armor in the game. Might be worth getting for Immerwin, considering I don't have to fork out as much money if I'm giving all of my characters hand-me-downs. Also, the fact that my Sorcerer doesn't require anything. All he's got is a sling, but his spells is all he needs, and all of the robes that you get from killing mages. So it's kind of a bit more of a, you know, easier playthrough with a Sorcerer because they require a lot less, and all they need is experience and levels. Hence why you see me play from a min-max perspective, getting all of the experience I need to maximise the characters. So you'll see obviously I'm getting the Flame Dance ring, which I mess up a little bit on because I tell her to bugger off, so I can't turn in that quest, so it means I lose 300 experience. I then reload the save, walk down thinking I've got the Flame Dance ring. I hadn't killed the hobgoblins, and I'm like, oh crap. So I reload the save again, kill them, and eventually get it right. I'm very, very bad with using brain cells. I'm not the best. I'm very silly. Quite lack common sense is probably the best way of putting it. I'm very forgetful. If you know me as a person, I'm probably the most forgetful person in the world. It's quite fun just to be stupid sometimes, but sometimes it really annoys me. Anyway, as you see, we're going down south to get to Beregost. One of the things I do as well is I actually take on an early Ungoliant. There are 2 Ungoliants on the path south of Beregost, just so I can get the note. Also, doing this commentary, I've just realised I've completely missed out the spiders in the Beregost house. So I need to go and do that next time I play the game, just to get those extra experience. I guess I'm an XP whore. I like experience a lot, especially when you're playing with a party. When you're playing as a solo character, it's very important to get high level quickly, but XP becomes really redundant as soon as you reach the XP cap, to the point you don't need to actually do anything other than make gold and finish the game. So like as soon as you get to Baldur's Gate as a solo character, normally you're about level 7 as a fighter, maybe level 8 if you've XP maximised. So yeah, you just get to Baldur's Gate and then you finish the game, and that's it. As a party, I'd probably get to Baldur's Gate. I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't even done the Nashkel Mines bit. I've only recorded for about 2 hours, but got to the Knoll Stronghold, just to get the Charisma Tome and rescue Dinah Hare. That's all I've done, really. All the stuff that's interesting that I've done nothing that's that big, other than do the same stuff I've done over from my solo Drow Ranger build. That's the only thing. Like it's basically like watching the same playthrough. Just instead, I've got 3 extra people. I'm leveling up slower. I'm not really doing as much because I'm weaker, but at the same time also stronger because I have extra people. It's quite weird because you are stronger, you kill things a lot quicker, but you also die a hell of a lot faster because you don't get strong as quick. But I would say this is probably the more interesting of the playthroughs because I'm not having to run back and forth using a bow. Obviously, if you watch the Dry Ranger playthrough on both episodes, I hit someone with a bow, have to sprint away. I then hit someone with the bow again, have to sprint away. It's just doing that over and over again. It's not that interesting to watch up until I get the Pulse of the Cheetah, which is actually in the next episode that's coming out today. Same with this one. I believe this is actually going to come out today. But obviously, you know, it's going to be quite interesting when the Dry Ranger actually picks up. Obviously, this is going to be, in my opinion, a more interesting playthrough from a story perspective. So if you like your stories, you like all of that stuff, definitely watch this playthrough because I will be doing Siege of Dragonspear. I will be doing Baldur's Gate 2 with this character. And I will be doing Throne of Baal. Still haven't completed Throne of Baal yet. Only because I'm actually tempted on leaving it now for this character and doing it with the party. I know I will be using Saravok because, spoiler, obviously 20 years late spoiler, I guess, but Saravok is a character, obviously the arch nemesis in this game, but in Throne of Baal he comes back and he's actually a companion, and that's actually really cool. And you can apparently convert him. So he starts off as chaotic evil, which I didn't think Saravok really was a chaotic evil character in, just judging from his personality in the first game. He's definitely chaotic, yes, he has his chaotic tendencies, but he's very, very smart, because from the standpoint you see him as an Iron Throne, he's quite a lawful evil character. He's abiding by the laws as a actual person, getting other people to do the dirty work, the bandits and all of that stuff, doing all of that stuff for him. But he's meanwhile becoming the Duke or Lord of whatever of Baldur's Gate, all basically following the laws, but using the city's mishap and lies and stuff like that to, you know, get power, which is fair enough. Like, I see that more of like a lawful evil sort of style, because he is abiding by the laws technically. He's not dirtying or sullying his hand. But then obviously you find out he's trying to become the next Lord of Murder. He's trying to become the next Baal. So that there is more of a chaotic side. Yes, completely agree with that. But I thought he would have been more of a lawful evil sort of character. Just judging based on what he is. I was like, I don't class Irenicus as chaotic evil, per se, just from personality. He's definitely a chaotic character, but there's a lot of depth in Irenicus, to the point where I actually felt sorry for him towards the end. Obviously, it wasn't Irenicus's fault per se. It was the elves' fault. It's a typical classic case of them causing more trouble, thinking they're doing the right thing. It's like it's the same thing, same lesson that you learn in life. You think you do the right thing, but sometimes you make it worse. It's just the way it is. You know, you can never truly do the right thing 100% of the time. You can only do what you think is the right thing, but even then, sometimes it makes matters worse. It's just the way it is. However, Irenicus was obviously stripped of his elven immortality. He was, you know, the elven gods, never followed him anymore. And it led Irenicus down a really dark path, to the point where he thought he didn't have a choice. That's the reason I like Irenicus, because the elves even say that if he had just repented for his sins, that they would have given him the second chance. That they would have, you know, made amends for and had given him back what he wanted. But because Irenicus was so deep in his sorrow and so angry and hell-bent on revenge, he didn't, and he went the opposite way, the way that the elves didn't think would happen. And that's why I pity Irenicus a little bit, because what happened to Irenicus, in all fairness, was a fate worse than death. Like, to live a hollow life, not feeling anything, to have nothing, and to know that you're slowly wilting away and dying with no hope, to get back what you lost. It's quite a sad life to live, and that would drive anyone to brinks of insanity, or, well, to do what they must. Thing is, Irenicus could have just ended at getting the Baal's, spirit, the divine essence. He could have just ended doing that. Instead of going obviously to Sildanesselar and trying to continue the last thing that he did, which was taking the life from the tree. He didn't have to do that, because Irenicus at this point was technically Bhaalspawn. Even though we shared the soul, he was still technically Bhaalspawn. And he could have very well himself become the Lord of Murder, if he had played his cards right, of course. But no, he was greedy, and as I said, he was hell-bent on revenge. He wanted to hurt the elves where it hurt them most. And he also wanted to become a god. He could have become a god regardless, becoming the Lord of Murder, but he wanted to hurt the elves. That's just the way it was. In a way, I do feel bad, as I said, for Irenicus. Bodhi not so much, because she's a vampire. It's just the way it is. But it's a very interesting game. That's probably why, again, I love Baldur's Gate so much, because there's just so much that goes into it. The characters are so diverse, but also so intricately made. So it's like, they're very complex characters. They're not linear at all. Like, you have Khalid, for example. He fits the role of reluctant hero perfectly. Like, he is scared all the time. So you can see it when his health gets low, he runs away from battle. But he does it for his wife, Jaheira. And Jaheira is, honestly, she is badass. She's one of the coolest characters in the game. She is, she takes no crap from anyone. She's just badass. And then you got Imowen. She's like that in the first game anyway. She's all that happy, cheery, quite funny sort of character. She lightens the mood a lot. Obviously, her personality changes a little bit in the next game, but we'll see that happen anyway. But I like the characters, because Jaheira herself, especially with her character development in the second game, I'm a bit 50-50 on it, because I like the idea. I just didn't like the outcome of the romancing option, because obviously Khalid and Jaheira are the power couple. Same with Minsc and Dynaheir. I did feel like BioWare got a little bit lazy and just killed off characters that weren't as interesting. So they killed off Khalid, they killed off Dynaheir, and it just wasn't, like, it was strange, because you could then romance Jaheira 5 seconds into Khalid being 2 foot into a grave. Like, it's a bit odd. I did actually read a Reddit post, actually. There was a guy who posted on Reddit, and it was actually a really interesting idea, because he came up with the role-playing perspective that he was trying to romance Dynaheir. Now, Dynaheir isn't and Minsc aren't a couple. Minsc is just her protector, her bodyguard. Obviously, his character in that Reddit post was the guy who was trying to romance Dynaheir, and then obviously comes to Baldur's Gate 2, she's dead, and Khalid is dead. So you and Jaheira are kind of in the same boat if you roleplay it from that perspective, and then that's how those two fall in love, which is kind of like it's a bittersweet sort of, way of looking at it. So it's not, it's interesting. It's quite an interesting sort of scenario, and it made me see it in a different light, the whole romancing option. But I also noticed that, obviously, because you can romance characters in Baldur's Gate 2, the romancing of the characters are very odd, because all of the women, now, if you have to play the game to obviously know, but they're a little bit unstable. Aerie, for example, she just whines all the time. Jaheira's brilliant, probably the best character, because even though she becomes very bitter, she becomes very, like, hate consumed and hell bent on revenge. She's still probably one of the most sane characters. Hexat is just, she's quite manipulative. Same with Viconia. She's very manipulative, but she also treats the main character like rubbish. Not really good sort of, I guess, relationship to have from a real life standpoint. But then I guess as well, every character in Baldur's Gate in some way is a little bit broken, because even the main character, everything he's had to go through, even he's broken, because, you know, his foster father being murdered before his very eyes, him finding out he's the son of a god, you know, stuff like that. Right, anyway, I think I'm going to end the segment here. So, as you see, I've just come up to the Wizard's Tower, so just talking to Philan here, picking up potion case. Next episode, obviously, we'll be doing the rest of the interesting stuff. Next episode will be maybe a little bit longer, just because I've got about 48 minutes remaining for the recording session that I've done. So that'll be like a finishing off everything. I do apologise if there's no audio. I did mess up in that recording session, but it will be fixed for the next time. Hence why I'll be uploading 2 videos today. So if you rather hear the game and not hear me talking over a silent game, I completely understand. You don't need to watch this episode. I do apologise. Obviously, if you do enjoy the video, please leave a like. Please subscribe. Please comment down below what you'd like to see. Any advice you want to give me, because as I said, I'm not the best Baldur's Gate player. I don't even think I'm a good Baldur's Gate player. It's just the way I think. I just do what I think's best from a maxing out perspective. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope to see you in the next video. Stay tuned for the Drow Ranger, and stay tuned for the second party build. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye.